What happens when a seasoned veteran tries to take down the league's brightest star, and it spectacularly backfires? Sheryl Swoopes just learned the hard way. Years of pushing false narratives about Caitlin Clark finally caught up with her, leading the WNBA to cut her from all broadcasting duties, not just Fever games but every platform. Now facing bankruptcy, she's desperate, pleading with Clark for a second chance, but the fans aren't buying it. This isn't a sudden fall. Swoopes' actions have had consequences for years, and Clark's unstoppable rise just shone a light on everything. Does she deserve what's coming? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you know, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you know, you might like Boston, I might like the Yankees. You know, it's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone, and I was like, Sheryl, you know, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Sheryl Swoopes.
Swoopes made her biggest error when she went after people who actually had the facts. Her fixation on tearing down Caitlin Clark crossed the line when she started inventing false claims about Clark's college stats, moving far beyond opinion into outright lies anyone could verify. That's when Nancy Lieberman stepped in. No tolerance, no holding back. The Hall of Fame exposed the truth, laying out Clark's real numbers and dismantling the narrative Swoopes had been pushing. You'd think being publicly fact-checked by a legend of Lieberman's caliber would force Swoopes to step back and own her mistake. But this is Sheryl Swoopes we're talking about.
There seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark starting with WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes herself.
Instead of backing down, Swoopes doubled down, diving into a messy public clash with Lieberman and refusing to face the facts even when the evidence was undeniable. She clung to her false narrative and lashed out at Lieberman for daring to set the record straight, leaving the basketball world watching a respected veteran humiliate herself over basic truths. Then Stephen A. Smith weighed in, tearing into Swoopes on national television without holding back. He called out her clear bias and jealousy toward Clark, questioning why someone who should be celebrating rising talent was instead trying to tear it apart. Smith made it unmistakably clear. Swoopes' actions were unprofessional, harmful, and a stain on the sport.
People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
The basketball world quickly realized Swoopes wasn't offering genuine critique. She was spreading false information and refusing to correct it, even when called out by respected voices. Her feud with Caitlin Clark had become personal, toxic, and completely unprofessional, leaving no room for fair coverage. It exposed how far Swoopes had lost all objectivity toward Clark in the new wave of WNBA stars, and the fallout on her reputation was massive. By attacking the league's brightest young talent instead of supporting the growth of women's basketball, she painted herself as a liability. The WNBA leadership couldn't ignore it any longer. One of their own broadcasters was actively damaging the league's image by pushing lies about its rising star.
And then obviously you guys remember last year when Dallas had to pretty much say, hey, you can't broadcast the Indiana Fever game after the little comments and things you had the game before or something like that. Yeah, I believe it was that. And Nancy Lieberman was the one who pretty much confronted Sheryl Swoopes about the whole situation and let her know, like, hey, you know, we got to keep it this, we got to keep it that, keep it about basketball.
The WNBA's decision to fire Swoopes wasn't shocking to anyone familiar with her history. She's carried a pattern of toxic behavior for years, and the league finally saw what college administrators had already learned the hard way. Take 2016, when she was coaching women's basketball at Loyola University Chicago. Reports surfaced about her mistreatment of players, with serious allegations painting a picture of a completely toxic environment for young athletes who were supposed to be learning and growing under her guidance.
Loyola University basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation, accused of mistreating players.
The college coach is not only under fire, but under investigation after reports that the majority of her roster has decided to leave.
The university investigated and found the claims credible, ultimately removing her from the program entirely. Swoopes lost her coaching role because she failed to treat college athletes with even basic respect and professionalism, leaving the very players she was meant to mentor to endure a hostile environment that turned their college experience into a struggle rather than an opportunity to grow.
You are a great player, it doesn't make you a great coach.
Former Loyola basketball player Kate Sohn says Swoopes caused the players to live in fear, that she routinely threatened that they would lose their scholarships or she would cut them from the team.
It made it hard to play. It wasn't about working hard and having fun anymore, it was about surviving.
Fast forward to 2024, and the same toxic patterns were playing out, but on a much bigger stage, with the WNBA's brightest rising star as a target. Swoopes applied everything she had learned about tearing people down directly to Caitlin Clark, launching relentless attacks for a full year with twisted statistics and false narratives aimed at diminishing Clark's achievements. Using her broadcasting platform to fuel personal vendettas instead of celebrating talent, she tried to undermine the very star drawing new fans to women's basketball. Swoopes has now revealed her true nature twice, first with powerless college players, and again with Clark on a national stage, turning every position of influence she held into a tool for hostility rather than support.
Mistreated players.
It was the environment she created. I was belittled, humiliated, made to feel extremely small.
What happens when a seasoned veteran tries to take down the league's brightest star, and it spectacularly backfires? Sheryl Swoopes just learned the hard way. Years of pushing false narratives about Caitlin Clark finally caught up with her, leading the WNBA to cut her from all broadcasting duties, not just Fever games but every platform. Now facing bankruptcy, she's desperate, pleading with Clark for a second chance, but the fans aren't buying it. This isn't a sudden fall. Swoopes' actions have had consequences for years, and Clark's unstoppable rise just shone a light on everything. Does she deserve what's coming? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Fast forward to 2024, and the same toxic patterns were playing out, but on a much bigger stage, with the WNBA's brightest rising star as a target. Swoopes applied everything she had learned about tearing people down directly to Caitlin Clark, launching relentless attacks for a full year with twisted statistics and false narratives aimed at diminishing Clark's achievements. Using her broadcasting platform to fuel personal vendettas instead of celebrating talent, she tried to undermine the very star drawing new fans to women.